The chilling tale of the Amityville Horror is one that has haunted people for decades. A story of fear, tragedy, and mystery, it has been etched into the annals of true crime and paranormal lore. But where did this terrifying saga begin? What is the real-life inspiration behind the horrifying events that occurred in that seemingly normal house on Ocean Avenue? In this video, we'll dive deep into the chilling events that allegedly unfolded in Amityville, exploring the real-life tragedy that inspired the infamous ghost story. From the terrifying murders that took place to the infamous claims of paranormal activity that followed, we'll separate fact from fiction and discover the truth behind one of the most controversial horror stories of all time. Let's start by stepping back in time to understand the dark history of 112 Ocean Avenue. The story of the Amityville Horror begins on the night of November 13, 1974. It was a cold, quiet evening when Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr. committed a gruesome crime that would change the course of history. Butch, the eldest son of the DeFeo family, murdered his father, mother, two brothers, and two sisters in their sleep. Butch's actions were brutal. He used a .35 caliber Marlin rifle to shoot each member of his family while they slept. His parents, Ronald and Louise DeFeo, were killed in their bed. His younger siblings, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthew, were also gunned down in their rooms. The killings were so methodical and horrific that they sent shockwaves through the small town of Amityville and beyond. Butch DeFeo was arrested the following day after he called the police and claimed that he had discovered the bodies. Initially, he insisted that he was not responsible for the murders, but later, after several hours of interrogation, he confessed to the killings. Butch was sentenced to 6 consecutive 25 to life prison terms for the murders of his family members. But what led Butch to carry out such an unimaginable act? That question remains unanswered to this day. Was it drugs, as some reports suggest? Or was there something more sinister at play? The motives behind the killings have been the subject of much debate. However, some have speculated that Butch's actions were not entirely driven by personal grievances, but may have been influenced by a darker, paranormal force. Just over a year after the brutal murders, the DeFeo house, now infamous for its dark history, was put up for sale. It wasn't long before a new family, George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, moved into the house. The Lutz family hoped to start fresh and put behind them the horrors of the past. But little did they know, their lives were about to be turned upside down by something far more terrifying than they could have imagined. It was in December of 1975 that the Lutz family moved into the house on Ocean Avenue. The purchase was made at a relatively low price, which was unusual for a home in such a desirable location. However, George and Kathy were not deterred by the house's dark past. They believed in their ability to turn the house into a home. The Lutz family began experiencing strange and frightening occurrences almost immediately after they moved in. Unexplained cold spots, foul odors, strange noises, and disturbing sounds filled the house. They also reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing strange voices. These paranormal events escalated quickly, and within a month, the Lutz family fled the house, leaving all of their belongings behind. Kathy Lutz later described experiencing what could only be described as an oppressive atmosphere in the house. Her children reportedly began having nightmares and waking up in terror. At one point, their youngest daughter even claimed that she saw a pig-like creature with glowing eyes watching her from the attic window. The terror reached its peak when George Lutz began to act strangely, becoming irritable and distant. The situation had become unbearable, and in January of 1976, the Lutz family left, never to return. But why did the Lutz family experience such terrifying events? And was there something that made their time in the house so much worse than the previous residents? Could the house itself have been cursed? The Lutz family's terrifying ordeal became the basis for what would later become a worldwide phenomenon. George and Kathy Lutz's account of their experiences in the house was shared with the public, and their chilling story quickly gained attention. In 1977, the Lutzes approached Jay Anson, a writer, to help them tell their story. Anson's book, The Amityville Horror, was published and became an instant bestseller. The book recounted the Lutz family's paranormal experiences in vivid detail, including terrifying occurrences like the appearance of a malevolent green ooze dripping from the walls, doors that would slam shut on their own, and a constant, overwhelming sense of dread that seemed to haunt every room. Anson's account of the Lutz family's experiences only served to fuel the growing legend of the Amityville Horror, and soon, people from around the world were fascinated by the idea of a haunted house that had a dark, tragic past. Soon after the publication of the book, a movie adaptation was made. The 1979 film The Amityville Horror brought the story to even more people and cemented the house's place in pop culture. The movie was a box office success and sparked a series of sequels, spin-offs, and a renewed interest in the paranormal. The Lutz family's story had become more than just a horror story. It had become a legend. But not everyone believed the Lutzes. The sensational nature of the story, combined with the fact that many of the claims could not be verified, led some to question the validity of the Lutzes' experiences. Was the family truly haunted by spirits? Or was the entire story fabricated to make money and gain fame? Many skeptics have argued that the entire Amityville Horror story was a hoax, a fabrication designed to profit from a tragic event. The Lutz family story was not without its inconsistencies, and there were numerous signs that the Lutzes might have exaggerated or even made up their experiences. One of the most prominent skeptics was Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators who were called to the Amityville house to investigate the claims of paranormal activity. They claimed to have witnessed disturbing phenomena during their visit, but their involvement only added fuel to the fire of controversy surrounding the story. Some have speculated that the Lutzes may have embellished their experiences to capitalize on the popularity of the story, and that the so-called hauntings could have been fabricated entirely for financial gain. In addition, several inconsistencies were uncovered by journalists and investigators. The Lutzes were found to have changed their stories on multiple occasions, and there were discrepancies between the details given in their book and the events described in their interviews. Some have argued that the Lutzes were either mistaken in their recollections or simply seeking attention. Moreover, the claims made in the Amityville Horror have been disputed by those who lived in the house before the Lutz family. The DeFeo family's friends and neighbors reported no signs of paranormal activity during the time they lived there. And importantly, a local priest, Father Ralph J. Bevilacqua, who allegedly performed an exorcism on the house, later said that he did not experience any paranormal phenomena himself and found the Lutzes' claims to be exaggerated. Despite the many questions surrounding the Lutzes' account, the story of the Amityville Horror has continued to capture the public's imagination. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue became a symbol of fear and mystery, a place that many people believe to be the source of malevolent spirits. Over the years, the Amityville Horror has remained a part of American folklore, and the house itself has become a macabre tourist destination. The story of the Amityville Horror has also continued to inspire books, documentaries, and films. While some have questioned the validity of the Lutz family's experiences, the cultural impact of the Amityville Horror cannot be denied. It remains one of the most widely recognized and debated paranormal cases in history. For the Lutz family, however, the aftermath of their experience was not as glamorous as it might have seemed in the public eye. While they gained fame, they also faced ridicule and skepticism. Their lives were never the same after their brief time in the house, and their involvement in the story would continue to haunt them. The mystery of the Amityville Horror has persisted for decades, and the question remains, was it real? Were the Lutz family truly haunted by malevolent spirits, or was it a product of their imagination, sensationalized for fame and fortune? Whether fact or fiction, the Amityville Horror has left an indelible mark on the world of true crime, paranormal investigation, and popular culture. It serves as a chilling reminder of the dark forces that some believe lurk in the shadows, and of the mysterious, terrifying possibilities that await those who venture into the unknown. What do you think? Was the Amityville Horror truly a haunting, or just a carefully crafted myth? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling stories from the world of true crime and the supernatural.